Amy Slayton, a star of 1,000-Pound Sisters, has made a decisive choice to pursue divorce and embark on a new chapter in her life. Amy Slayton, a prominent figure from the TLC reality series 1,000-Pound Sisters, has astonished many with a significant life decision. Following years of embarrassment and distress, Amy has resolved to divorce her husband. Amy's spouse has exhibited abusive behavior towards both her and her young child for an extended period. Typically composed, Amy has remained silent on numerous occasions. However, she can no longer tolerate the situation. She has resolved to adopt a stringent approach for the sake of her own future and that of her child. Amy is accompanied by her family, particularly her sister Tammy Slayton, during this challenging period. Tammy asserts, "This man has deprived Amy of her peace of mind. He deserves incarceration." Amy seeks to reconstruct her identity, prioritizing her self-respect and the protection of her children. She is not solitary in this struggle. She is supported by her family, her sister, and a multitude of admirers. Amy Slayton stood in the entrance of her unassuming Kentucky residence, seeing the sunset diffuse across the sky. It had been a protracted, arduous day. Yet for the first time in months, perhaps even years, she had an unusual tranquility in her chest. A tempest had subsided, and she had endured. Merely a week prior, Amy had assembled her husband's belongings and placed them on the porch. "You are no longer welcome here," she stated, her voice quivering yet resolute. Amy's decision required years of contemplation. She had long suffered emotional abuse, manipulation, and the persistent anxiety that her son might perceive this as a model of love. Her husband, initially supportive during their early reality TV success, had gradually transformed into an unrecognizable figure, domineering, dismissive, and increasingly antagonistic. The pivotal moment occurred one evening when she discovered her son weeping alone in the kitchen while her husband yelled at a football game on television. That scene tormented her, and something within her fractured. "No more," she murmured to herself that evening. "We merit superior treatment." Amy's sister, Tammy Slayton, was her initial contact. Tammy, recognized for her intense demeanor and candidness, responded without hesitation. "You made the correct decision, sister," Tammy declared, approaching with a takeout bag and a large container of ice cream. "That man has deprived you of your tranquility for far too long. You have an entire life before you. Let us reclaim it." Subsequently, Amy initiated divorce proceedings, altered the locks, and commenced therapy for both herself and her son. The producers of 1,000-Pound Sisters approached the subject with caution, uncertain of how to address such an intimate crisis. However, Amy was candid about her choice to disclose the reality. "If I remain silent," she stated to the cameras, "how many other women will continue to endure in silence, believing they must also suffer?" Supporters nationwide united in her favor. Communications flooded in from Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Some had analogous experiences, while others sent resources, prayers, and unwavering affection. Motivated by the encouragement she received, Amy initiated a YouTube series entitled Amy Unfiltered, in which she candidly discussed her journey of life reconstruction, covering topics such as therapy, co-parenting difficulties, culinary experiences with her son, and the reclamation of her self-worth. The inaugural video garnered 1 million views within a mere 3 days. Tammy emerged as Amy's foremost supporter, and their relationship deepened significantly. "We have both confronted our personal struggles," Tammy remarked in a joint interview. "But Amy? She is now battling for her son. Such strength is not innate. It is genuine power." Amy initiated incremental changes to transform her life. She enrolled in parenting courses, commenced walking with her kid in the park, and began authoring a children's book inspired by her experiences. One morning, as she prepared lunch for her son, she saw her reflection in the mirror. There were weary creases around her eyes, yet also an emerging quality: clarity, strength. "I believed I was fracturing," she stated softly, "but in truth, I was liberating myself." Nonetheless, Tammy Slayton of 1,000 LB Sisters impresses in full-body dance video following skin removal surgery. Tammy Slayton, a star of 1000 LB Sisters, showcases her slender physique in a new video following her skin removal surgery. She first appeared in 1000 LB Sisters Season 1 in 2020, weighing over 700 pounds and grappling with mobility issues, low self-esteem, and recurrent health crises. At one point, Tammy required a ventilator as emotional eating significantly impacted her life. By Season 7 of 1000 LB Sisters, she had successfully lost over 500 pounds after undergoing bariatric surgery. Tammy underwent extensive dermatological excision, eliminating over 15 pounds of superfluous tissue. Her journey has evolved from hospital confinement to enhanced mobility, self-acceptance, and confidence. A recent series of public appearances enables Tammy to showcase her healthier lifestyle both on and off camera. Additionally, Tammy made a significant announcement regarding her relationship with Andrea Dalton. Tammy has garnered significant attention after shedding over 500 pounds through a series of operations and sharing her transformation on social media. Tammy's recent podcast appearance with the A Creative Ekyaspid cast crew is trending as they persist in producing material featuring her. In a new video, they dance to Kesha's song, Your Love Is My Drug, where Tammy adeptly lip-synced the chorus and sang while showcasing her transformed physique. Adorned in a long t-shirt, she transformed into a tank top with ribbons and laces. Paired with camo print cargo pants, Tammy secured her burgeoning hair in a bun. One of Tammy's admirers, African Americana, remarked, "Observe those slender arms on Tammy." Others contributed by praising Tammy's more slender neck, flat abdomen, and newly developed muscles, implying she is engaging in physical exercise as well. In late 2021, Tammy attained a pivotal juncture at 725 pounds when respiratory failure necessitated her placement in a medically induced coma on a ventilator. Driven by a profound fear for her life, Tammy enrolled in a 14-month weight loss rehabilitation facility in Ohio. During her stay, she lost 180 pounds and became eligible for bariatric surgery, representing a substantial achievement relative to her previous endeavors. In the summer of 2022, Tammy underwent gastric bypass surgery and subsequently lost an additional 300 pounds, culminating in a total weight loss of 500 pounds over the past year. Her smoking habit posed a barrier to obtaining skin removal surgery. Nevertheless, Tammy may have been driven by the difficulties associated with excess skin, particularly around her abdomen, thighs, and arms, which resulted in mobility issues, hygiene concerns, and heightened self-consciousness. Tammy likened her gait to that of a penguin, but following her surgery nearly 6 months ago, she has completely recuperated. She is now conversing, ambulating, and presenting herself as a transformed individual. Previously, she showcased her dancing in TikTok videos. However, she now performs publicly. Tammy is engaging with various individuals and forging new friendships. She has long aspired to be a plus-size model and has even participated in her inaugural commercial since the operation. Tammy's skin removal surgery has inaugurated a new era of liberation and self-assurance. Previously confined to her home and bed, she now ventures out with exuberant vitality. She is publicly dancing, filming a commercial, and engaging with fans. Her newfound mobility transcends the physical. It is also emotional. Tammy from 1000 LB Sisters exudes empowerment, pursuing opportunities and relationships she once merely envisioned. Nonetheless, Tammy Slayton of 1000 LB Sisters is unrecognizable in a rare public appearance following her skin removal surgery. Tammy Slayton, a star of 1000 LB Sisters, has unveiled her vibrant new makeover through rare full-length photographs following her skin removal surgery. Previously, when Tammy weighed over 700 pounds, she wore size 8XL clothing, limiting her fashion experimentation. Her everyday attire has now been transformed into lively prints, pastel hues, and striking accessories. The skin removal surgery featured in Season 7 of 1000 LB Sisters has further improved her appearance, rendering her nearly unrecognizable in public. Tammy has exhibited considerable extroversion following her recovery from skin removal surgery. Her most recent tagged photographs depict her posing with admirers and showcasing her new appearance. Tammy has recently been featured in multiple photographs from the Henderson, Kentucky Pride event, including a post by Lena's Living. A fan anticipated Tammy's presence at the event and expressed enthusiasm about approaching her to greet and discuss the show. "She was very kind to us," the fan remarked, expressing gratitude towards Tammy for consenting to take pictures with them. Tammy donned a white t-shirt paired with faded jeans, slick back hair, and accessorized with a vibrant Hawaiian flower lei necklace to complete her ensemble. Numerous transformations have occurred in Tammy since she completed the final phase of her weight loss journey. Previously, Tammy exhibited a lack of commitment to her health, frequently disregarding medical counsel, neglecting doctor appointments, and seeking solace in food. Her diminished motivation and recurrent hospitalizations caused concern among her family and admirers. However, following a near-fatal incident, Tammy initiated significant lifestyle modifications. Tammy underwent surgery and committed to long-term weight loss and healthier habits, demonstrating significant dedication to her health. She has lost over 500 pounds, maintained an active lifestyle, and made improved dietary choices. Her transformation has inspired many and illustrates her journey from her lowest point. This change is evident in her attire. Tammy now wears fitted, stylish clothing that accentuates her progress and enhances her confidence. Tammy's fashion selections, ranging from vibrant tops to playful accessories, reflect her pride in her transformation. No longer concealing herself in oversized garments, she embraces styles that celebrate her new lifestyle and the self-love she has cultivated. She appears particularly fond of jeans, especially now that she can select them directly from the rack, a feat unattainable when she weighed nearly 1,000 pounds. Her recent regular public appearances, previously hindered by mobility and health challenges, illustrate her significant progress and readiness to embrace life fully. Tammy's openness to being seen and celebrated publicly conveys a message of resilience and self-acceptance. By attending events and sharing selfies with fans, she is embracing visibility after years of seclusion. These appearances transcend mere fashion statements. They exemplify the liberation that Tammy's health journey on 1000 lb Sisters has afforded her. Tammy is no longer concealing herself. She is confidently presenting her authentic self. Her evolving style and demeanor indicate that she is redefining her narrative on her own terms. Each public appearance and ensemble now embodies strength, growth, and joy for the reality television personality. Nevertheless, on a luminous Saturday morning in Dixon, Kentucky, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation, more so, even, than the figures Amy and Tammy Slayton dreaded encountering on the scale. This was not merely a weigh-in. It was the pivotal weigh-in that could ascertain whether Tammy would finally qualify for the transformative surgery she had long envisioned. As for Amy, she was optimistic that her progress would provide her with the fortitude to persevere, not solely for herself, but also for her infant son, Gage, and the new life she was endeavoring to establish. Within the little clinic, Dr. Proctor awaited with patience, perusing charts and notes. He had witnessed the peaks and valleys of the Slayton sisters' odyssey, yet this occasion felt distinct. They exhibited increased focus, determination, and unity. Tammy had dedicated the past 3 months to intense effort. There were days filled with tears when her body protested even the simplest task of rising from bed. There were evenings she wept into her pillow, embarrassed by her previous neglect of self-care. However, her sister, Amy, remained steadfastly by her side. Amy spoke to Tammy the night before the weigh-in, gripping her hand firmly. "You can achieve this, sister. We are no longer the girls from season 1. Amy had made significant progress. Following childbirth, she confronted postpartum depression, cravings, and stress-induced eating. However, her affection for her child and aspiration for a healthier future propelled her onward. She even commenced recording motivational videos for her YouTube channel, where viewers inundated her with love and support. Upon the clinic nurse announcing, "Tammy Slayton," the room became hushed. Tammy maneuvered herself toward the scale, her breathing measured and consistent. Amy stood alongside her, her hands intertwined as if in silent supplication. The scale emitted a beep. Tammy inhaled deeply. Dr. Proctor moved forward and examined the number. His eyes expanded, and a smile gradually emerged on his face. "Tammy, you have lost 97 pounds. Tammy blinked, then blinked again. "I did what?" "You accomplished it, Tammy. You are below the target weight. You are now a candidate for bariatric surgery." Amy exclaimed with elation, embracing her sister, tears cascading down her cheeks. "I informed you. I was confident in your ability to succeed." Tammy wept, but for the first time in years, her tears were not of frustration. They were tears of triumph. Amy's weigh-in followed. She confidently stepped onto the scale, cradling tiny Gage. The nurse requested to hold the infant while she stood on the scale. The buzzer resonated. A subsequent moment of stillness ensued. "Amy, you have lost 45 pounds, Dr. Proctor remarked kindly. "You have sustained your post-pregnancy weight reduction, and your vital signs are outstanding." Amy gazed at Gage, who responded with a broad, toothless smile as though he comprehended. "For you, dear boy," she murmured. That evening, at home, Tammy and Amy sat on the porch, consuming sugar-free iced tea and observing the sunset. "We did not merely lose weight today," Tammy stated. "We shed doubt, fear, and shame. We acquired hope," Amy remarked, "and a future." As the stars emerged, they clasped each other's hands in silent pride. The journey was not yet complete. However, for the first time, they could genuinely assert they were succeeding. Thus, with revitalized determination and fraternal support, the Slayton sisters persisted in their quest, not merely to shed weight, but to enhance their lives. Nonetheless, following the tumultuous years marked by health struggles, emotional distress, and familial conflict, Amy Slayton recognized the necessity for transformation. Her physique was fatigued, her spirit depleted. Yet, within her, a faint spark of hope persisted. The path she traversed alongside her sister Tammy was characterized by profound suffering and profound affection, but now, it was time to initiate healing, not solely on a physical level, but also emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. The narrative commenced on a tranquil morning in Dixon, Kentucky. Sunlight streamed through the window of Amy's unassuming residence. Her sons remained in slumber, their gentle breaths a harmonious sound that filled her with appreciation. She occupied a seat at the kitchen table, gazing at an antiquated photograph, herself and Tammy, both beaming, arms entwined, prior to the media exposure, prior to the surgeries, before their identities became public knowledge. Teardrops cascaded down her cheeks. "What have I become?" she murmured. The focus had shifted from weight to emotional scars, deep-seated injuries stemming from a childhood marked by bullying, isolation, and deprivation, as well as recent afflictions. The recent dissolution of her marriage had reignited feelings of abandonment. However, that morning, a transformation occurred within her. She resolved not to allow pain to dictate her identity any longer. She contacted Tammy. "We require a reset," Amy stated, her voice trembling. "For ourselves. For all matters." Tammy consented. With the assistance of TLC, the sisters departed for a remote health and wellness retreat in the Smoky Mountains. No filming, no cameras, only themselves, nature, and recuperation. Initially, it was uncomfortable. Amy attempted yoga and fell. Tammy expressed frustration regarding the no-sugar detox. However, the mountain air and tranquility facilitated their self-discovery. They wept over nostalgic recollections of their youth. They absolved their mother. They composed letters to their former selves and incinerated them in the flames. Most significantly, they laughed, genuine, hearty, exuberant laughing. "I have forgotten what it feels like to simply be ourselves," Tammy remarked one evening. "So did I," Amy remarked, her eyes glimmering. Amy commenced therapy upon returning home. She participated in a support group for women reconstructing their lives. Gradually, she began to engage in activities just for her own benefit, not for the cameras or the fans. She commenced painting, converting her garage into a compact art studio. She commenced preparing nutritious meals not out of need, but because it invigorated her spirit. She authored a children's book inspired by her sons, encompassing themes of self-love, bravery, and sisterhood. During a support group meeting, Amy stood before the audience, presenting a canvas of her latest painting, a lady emerging from a pool of darkness into illumination. "This is my true self," she stated, her voice quavering. "I once believed that healing entailed transforming into a different person. However, I now understand that it is about returning to my authentic self. Resilient, compassionate, sufficient." The place resounded with applause. Months elapsed. Amy dropped additional weight, indeed, but more significantly, she acquired something far more valuable: tranquility. TLC proposed a new series for her and Tammy, focusing on wellness and womanhood rather than weight loss. Amy consented, establishing new boundaries: no filming her children, no exploiting their suffering, and exclusively sharing authentic, healing narratives. The series Sisters Reborn gained prominence not due to its dramatic elements, but rather its genuineness. In the season's concluding episode, Amy stood on a cliff in the Smoky Mountains, gazing over the valley below, accompanied by her sister. "We have endured immense adversity," she stated. "Yet here we are, still resilient, still affectionate, still recovering." Tammy seized her hand, ultimately liberated. Nonetheless, the initiative commenced as a straightforward concept. Amy Slayton had long aspired to undertake an empowering endeavor for herself and her family, one that would demonstrate to the world, particularly to Tammy, that determination could render the impossible achievable. Upon TLC's announcement of a local charity 5K walk in Kentucky, Amy promptly registered, compelling her hesitant sister, Tammy, to join her. "I am not participating, Amy," Tammy muttered while gazing at the registration form. "You are aware that I do not engage in cardiovascular exercise. That is your domain." Amy laughed. "It's merely walking. We are not attempting to compete in the Olympics. Furthermore, by doing this, we demonstrate to the world our progress. Quite literally." Tammy expressed her discontent but acquiesced, primarily to assist Amy and gain some exposure on camera. The subsequent weeks were characterized by exertion, disputes, and emotional revelations. They trained each morning at the local park under the guidance of their cousin Amanda, who served as their unofficial coach. "Tammy, that is not stretching, that is merely lying on the ground," Amanda exclaimed on the third day. Amy chuckled, although Tammy remained unamused. "I am engaging in mental preparation. It is referred to as visualization, Amanda." Notwithstanding the playful exchanges and intermittent outbursts, both sisters commenced significant advancement. By the second week, Tammy managed to walk a whole mile without her oxygen tank, while Amy was contemplating coordinating clothes for race day. However, tensions persisted beneath the surface. The morning of the 5K dawned with sunlight and apprehension. Amy donned a vibrant pink shirt emblazoned with Slayton sisters, whilst Tammy had large sunglasses and a dubious demeanor. At the starting line, TLC's camera team was present and numerous spectators assembled to offer their support. During the initial half-mile, the event proceeded without incident. Amy acknowledged the crowd with a wave, while Tammy expressed discontent yet maintained her pace. Subsequently, the second mile arrived. "Why did you not bring my water?" Tammy abruptly retorted. Amy, breathless beside her, was perplexed. "We are sharing one, recall?" Tammy halted abruptly. "Naturally. You never prioritize me. It consistently revolves around your appearance for television." At that moment, it erupted. In the presence of cameras, fans, and other attendees, Tammy and Amy commenced shouting. "You consistently undermine yourself, Tammy," Amy exclaimed. "You consistently behave as though you are superior to me since your surgery," Tammy retorted. Amanda hurried in to pacify them, however the harm was already inflicted. TLC producers deliberated on the continuation of filming. A close fan murmured, "They truly behave this way in reality." Tammy abruptly left the route and seated herself on a bench beneath a tree. Amy persisted in walking, tears cascading down her cheeks, resolute in her intention to complete the task. 30 minutes later, an astonishing event occurred. Tammy emerged during the concluding segment, accompanied by a little girl in a wheelchair who knew her from the presentation. The child expressed that Tammy had motivated her to attempt walking again following spinal surgery. This really affected Tammy. "Come on," Tammy urged. "Let us complete it together." Amy glanced back in astonishment as Tammy gradually approached. The sisters crossed the finish line in unison, clasping hands. The audience exploded in ovation, and even the producers were visibly emotional. The sisters contemplated the events that transpired at home. "I suppose, at times, drama is integral to our narrative," Amy stated. Tammy acknowledged, "Indeed, but perhaps next time we should engage in combat after crossing the finish line, rather than during the race." Nonetheless, Tammy Slayton stood before the full-length mirror in her Kentucky residence, tugging at the excess skin that now hung from her arms like delicate drapery. The weight loss had been significant, both physically and emotionally. She ought to have been rejoicing. However, a pervasive sense of doubt overshadowed her like a looming storm cloud. 6 weeks had elapsed since her physician initially sanctioned her for skin removal surgery. Those around her, Amy, Chris, and even Misty, had expressed their enthusiasm. However, Tammy did not share their sentiment. Not at her core. Amy, conversely, was brimming with enthusiasm. Amy remarked, seated at the kitchen table with baby Glenn on her lap, "You will feel rejuvenated, sister. Recall my experience? I wept when I could finally cross my legs after years. You are worthy of this as well." Tammy provided a faint smile, but remained mute. She had endured considerable hardships, the tracheotomy, the rehabilitation center, the near-fatal incident. Nevertheless, this singular decision appeared to carry an undue weight. Later that day, during a preoperative meeting at the clinic, Dr. Smith outlined the specifics of the surgery: incisions, scarring, recovery duration, and associated risks. "You are an excellent candidate, Tammy. However, you must be mentally prepared." "Are you?" he inquired softly. Tammy paused. "I am uncertain. It feels as though I am losing a fragment of my identity. It seems that all my experiences are on the verge of being severed. I recognize it is merely skin, yet it serves as a reminder of my origins." Dr. Smith said, "That is a candid sentiment. There is no need to expedite this process. Recovery encompasses more than merely the external aspects." In the subsequent days, Tammy had considerable turmoil. Her siblings were orchestrating a surprise celebration following her surgery. Decorations were procured, and Amy even prepared a cake titled "Bye Bye Skin." However, internally, Tammy was disintegrating. One evening, while seated on the porch among the stars, she ultimately confided in Amy. "What truly terrifies me," Tammy muttered, "I fear that post-surgery, I may not recognize myself. What if I continue to feel devoid of worth, even without the skin?" Amy grasped her sister's hand. "Tammy, your appearance is inconsequential. You possess inherent strength and beauty. The surgery is merely a step, not a remedy for our internal feelings. Regardless of your decision, I will support you." The day of the surgery arrived. Tammy donned a hospital gown, moments away from being transported to the operating room. Subsequently, she articulated her thoughts. "I am unprepared," she informed the nurse. "I require additional time." She anticipated disappointment. However, Amy entered the room with tears in her eyes and embraced her fervently. Amy said, "I commend you for recognizing your truth." The show concluded not with a triumphant surgical montage, but with Tammy exiting the hospital, head held high, recognizing that her path was not about hastening to the next milestone, but rather about honoring her own pace. During the episode's voiceover, Tammy stated, "I believed that skin removal would grant me liberation. However, I discovered that true freedom arises from making choices that align with my values, rather than conforming to societal expectations. Perhaps this realization has rendered me stronger than ever." Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Mina, and I hope your day is going splendidly. If you appreciate the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.